On September 26, the 20th annual Two-Care Natural Resources Bus Tour took more than 50 interested parties on a tour of the Rim Fire. The Rim Fire was the largest fire of the 2013 season in California and is currently listed as the third largest fire of all time in California. The purpose of the tour is to provide information and facts about the natural resources in Tuolumne County. The tour started on Cottonwood Road east of Tuolumne City. The first stop was a 13-mile fire break that was created by Sierra Pacific Industries on part of the 97,000 acres they privately hold in the Stanislaus National Forest. Regional Manager Tim Tate explains how they responded to the fire early on and worked to coordinate their efforts with the government firefighting agencies.
We're standing on Sierra Pacific Industries property. This fire started way south of here, many miles over I-120 on Saturday the 17th of August. And by about Monday, the following Monday, Ken Fleming, who's here someplace, who is Melinda's husband, came in my office there at Sonora and says, you know, that thing's coming towards our property out at Duckwall and Cherry Lake, and we really need to think about doing something. So we have about 12,000 acres out there that we felt was at risk. So we started mobilizing company equipment. By Tuesday morning, we were going strong out there. We were putting in fire line on some high ground, on the Forest Service ground. We realized that line was not going to do much good. So we went up this area up here to Duckwall Ridge and started building line west of Duckwall Lookout.
Bob Brennan, a Tuolumne County rancher and grazing rights permittee, also took the opportunity to talk about getting his cows out of the forest and the losses that they suffered.
On this allotment, this is Duckwall allotment right here, Duckwall Ridge, all the way back down to the cattle guard, probably 15 miles down the road. This is the Duckwall allotment to the Clavey River. We started gathering the cattle oil in this area. There were three of us, there were two permittees here. We were all kind of out in conjunction, just gathering the cattle off of here. We're getting most of these cattle out of here a month to 2 months early. The cattle weren't ready, it's hot, they know it's not time to go home yet. Right now they kind of know it's time because it's cooling off and they're ready to go. They know the routine. So we had trouble. It's drier than normal. The cattle were down in drainages that normally aren't into, looking for water. So the cattle we lost, that's probably the reason we did lose them. They weren't up where we could find them.
At Jawbone Creek, Mike Albrecht described salvage efforts through the use of machinery like this Feller Buncher that can harvest 80 trees an hour. Rafael Garcia demonstrated how the machine works. This particular area burned in the 1973 Granite Fire. It was replanted 33 years ago, but the fire completely destroyed the stand of trees. The tour stopped for lunch and presentations at the Forest Service facility at Cherry Lake. Melinda Fleming tells us about Two-Care.
This is Carl Dambecker with Gold Rush News. Today we have Two-Care Executive Director Melinda Fleming. Melinda's going to tell us a little bit about today's activities. So Melinda, tell us a little about who you are, what you're involved with, and tell us about today's major event.
Okay. Two-Care is Tuolumne County Alliance for Resources and the Environment. And it is a nonprofit group that is made up of concerned citizens who care about their environment, care about our resources, and the management of those resources. One of the avenues of our education focus is to get people out into nature and as up close with the resources so that they can see for themselves how they're being managed, and then also talk to the managers themselves. 2Care facilitates field trips, and today we are on a field trip. This tour, it's allowing the folks who have heard about the fire, who have seen bits and pieces in news media, but to actually be right in amongst those who are firefighters, whether they were agency people or whether they were with Sierra Pacific Industries on their own land that was burning. But it allows them to see the faces of those people, to realize how important the resource is to them and how the restoration of that resource is. So today we're hoping that when people leave the tour this afternoon, they're going to go away with a whole new perspective on what it means to be a resource manager, number one. And number two, what it also means that the steps are going to have to be taken, and they're huge steps, to restore this area that's been burned. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of effort, but it's also going to take citizens, and that's what we hope comes from this event, that they leave here enlightened, educated, and that they can come back to their communities, share what they've seen with people, and also with their legislators and policymakers. They're going to be the ones, the voices that are going to be heard.
The final stop for the day was back at the mill in Standard, where the salvaged trees are being processed. Although the fire was devastating and its effects will be felt for years to come, the efforts of loggers and timber manufacturing are helping to turn this tragedy into an economic boon that will increase jobs, production, and exports of our most precious natural resources.